up, Ninjago fam? Welcome back to yet another Ninja Legends podcast. And thank God we are back to our usual season discussion podcast, which we haven't done in such a long time. And they finally have returned, thank God, after all this time. So, yeah. And also making my return is me. I am Luke the Nindroid. I make a lot of content. I unfortunately did retire my gaming content since the last time I was here, so unfortunately I don't do gaming anymore. But I still do make Ninjago videos, so if you want to check out all the Ninjago content I make, please check my channel in the description below. Now, let's check out the other castmates.
I'm Brix, and I make all sorts of set-related content, ranging from custom minifigures, mocks, and many other cool stuff. So if you're interested, the link to the channel will be in the description down below. Rida.
Hello, I'm Rida. I do Nindroid videos on my YouTube channel, so if you're interested, you can check the link in the description.
Okay, so hello, I'm the Lord of the J. So I personally do a lot of different tribute videos, some other Ninjago related content. So it would be real nice if you could check me out.
Hello everybody, I am TheJayButTwo. I'm mainly a Ninjago orientated channel, although I do other stuff like reviews, and then I've just passed 100 subscribers, so thank you for that. And if you want to be a part of that, then yeah, check the link in the description. I suppose I'm down there.
Yep, and speaking of Lord of J, we actually filmed a collab recently talking about our top 5 J scenes to complete my whole ninja scene series. So if you want to check that video out, just please go to the channel. So sorry for adding me as an extra again.
Yeah, it's alright.
So
it's alright.
So since we're in a Ninjago drought, we're dry of Ninjago news. So the only thing we really got is a new sort of mini-series that LEGO's producing called The Ninja Vlogs, which stars Jay and Nia. It's different.
Finally, a Jay and Nia spin-off series.
Yeah. It's different.
It
That's
takes place
probably
in the installment that we're talking about, which is The Island.
It does kind of lead into it, though. Is it? Obviously, it's not canon, but like it's all about them going to the island and vlogging it. So
yeah, something like this, you could say.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of comments saying, "Oh, Lego's outdated. Like they didn't do it when the vlogs were actually like super popular back in like was it 2017 or something."
God, it's been years.
Yeah, that was a golden age of vlogs, that's for sure.
Yeah, because yeah, that's when the Paul brothers and like Roman Atwood were like
yeah.
But if you notice, I think a lot of people noticed that the movements of J&E were very awkward and stilted, but there's an explanation for that, as it's motion capture.
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, because that's... Yeah. I know that Tommy said he wanted to do Ninjago in different styles, like as we had with the infamous anime, and I thought, okay, this is just another way of producing that.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I don't really like it. Like the animation is really weird. Like like it hurts the eyes when I'm looking at it. Like I didn't watch it fully.
There are normal designs in the show, so seeing those is kind of weird. To be fair, maybe even a bit terrifying.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird hearing other voices coming out of character
as well, because the faces just like are so scrunched. They're almost scrunched. Essentially.
Yeah, the faces are so strange.
Yeah, it reminds
very dead.
It reminds me of one particular poster from Lego Ninjago movie Nia, where she had like a very evil smile. This was like, oh no.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Yeah,
so evil.
Pretty similar to that, you could say.
Yeah, and of course they didn't use the actual voice actors for Jay and Nia, because budget.
Yeah, but yeah, that makes it even weirder. But oh well.
Yeah.
It's a cool concept, I must say. But
yeah, it's one of those things where it was like, it's so bad, it's good.
Yeah, like I unironically enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Like,
It's just horribly random, to be
Yeah,
fair.
I agree. I agree on that.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
and
think
so
the
far, I think the third episode was released like really recently, like the day we're recording this, it released.
Oh, yeah, I think so. I'm
I
not
thought they were
sure.
going to be weekly, but like, there was a massive gap
It was
between the first and
bi-weekly. It was
second episode.
bi-weekly every 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I know that's what they said in the first one, and I think that's what they're going through. They're doing it every 2 weeks, and I don't know how long, or we don't know how long this series will last, honestly. So who knows?
Yeah.
I think the
Uh,
colors are strange too.
The what are strange?
The colors, like of the
Oh, the
suits
suits.
and
Oh
of
yeah,
the actors, they're pretty off.
yeah, I can see that.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's intentional or not. Maybe there's like, you know how you have green screen and blue screen. Maybe there's something to do with that. I don't know.
Yeah,
It seems very
Yeah, could be.
unintentional but intentional at the same time. Like, why would they change the shade of color on blue? Like, it doesn't really make sense.
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, even though the only memorable moment of these vlogs I remember is that a lot of people that Jay accidentally uploaded a chicken to his poll, and everyone voted for the chicken.
I mean, yeah,
It's just
And
definitely
humor.
feels like Jay. That's for sure.
yeah, like I think this new things like the vlogs are similar to what we're getting like in season 13. We got the bloopers video, and it's and this one is like in the same way. It's like it's something unrelated to the show, but that's happening during the a season. So I think that's like cool, like as a side Ninjago content. But I don't know if it's really necessary. Like I don't really think it's like I personally don't like it, but I don't know.
Well, the thing is, it's obviously targeted towards a lot younger audience than we are, and I think that's cool because like you need to get those like young people involved so they can grow up and become fans like
Yeah,
us who keep the
that's
franchise
true.
going.
Yeah,
So I
for
think it's
sure. I
nice how
mean,
they are making stuff for children as well.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it definitely
yeah.
feels totally unnecessary, but yeah, I definitely get the point why it exists. So I think that's more than fair.
So yeah, the chicken squad, all hail the chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's really up to where we are because I don't think any of us have seen the third episode because I know I haven't.
And no,
Nope.
not me.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So I
I've
not
only
me.
seen the first one.
that's where we're gonna end it for there. The only other thing I could think of is the obvious, Tommy, left Twitter because all those people constantly asking him spoiler related questions. Like, oh,
Yeah.
just like
Yeah, I mean,
why?
that's really annoying. Like, can't you really wait a few months? I mean, I don't know. I
Yeah,
just don't really
this
get that.
sucks. Like also the other day, Tommy posted a tweet. He talked about Jake, the kid who passed away a few months ago, and I saw many fans asking Ninjago questions under this tweet, and I was like what
Yeah, it's a bit
like
distasteful.
how is this possible?
Like,
There's a
what
kid
the
who died,
hell?
and people
What
are asking
the hell?
in the replies.
Well, yeah,
I
that is
responded
really
to some people,
disappointing.
but like.
It's like the nerve of them. I swear to God.
It's just some people out there.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess they really have no
be
shame.
respectful. That's all you need to do. Is just be
Mhm.
respectful. Like, know who you're talking to.
It's a
I know,
loud
right?
like minority. Like a lot of Ninjago fans aren't like that. It's just the ones who are very vocal and are asking these questions on his Twitter.
Yeah.
It's
And
distasteful.
I'm
I don't
sure
like
they
it.
don't
Yeah.
have like any ill intent, but like, did you read the tweet before you typed your question?
Yeah, like it's a memorial post. Like you'd think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And what surprises me is how this didn't happen when Kirby passed away. I'm surprised this didn't happen when Kirby passed, but it happens when this happens.
Hmm.
The logic in that.
While
Probably some of the people who are asking these questions are younger kids. So I think maybe not all of them understand.
I wonder if younger kids even know what Twitter is.
Well, kids these days, they know a lot.
True.
That's true. They are getting smarter. So. But I think that's really we're in a drought, so we're not really getting all that much. So I guess we're gonna start talking about, what we're actually come to talk about is the island, which is, as we have kind of recently witnessed, has been kind of under fire for a naming controversy, but we'll get more into that next podcast, which is the Seabound one. Because that's kind of, according to what TheJayButTwo says, that's kind of where the problem really started to shine. Because it didn't happen when this originally aired, it happened when Seabound aired.
Yeah. It was because this, for context, The Island was originally called Season 14 by the fans, but then a writer on Season 15 Seabound referred to it as Season 14.
Yeah.
So that's where it's all very confusing, as you probably tell by me already mixing up in that sentence. So let's just call it The Island and not Season such and such, because it's going to get too confusing.
Yeah. I think we should consider The Island a TV special. How Day of the Reporter is considered a TV special, because it works like that.
I don't think we should get into the whole argument in here.
Yeah, we should leave this discussion to Seabound's podcast.
For sure.
We'll just mention it for now, and then we'll actually go full on into it when we get to Seabound. But anyways, as we said, The Island, it's only made up of 4 episodes, 4 11-minute episodes. So about the same length as Rida said, Day of the Departed or the pilot episodes. So very short.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I also remember in the community, a lot of us actually thought this will be a full season with episodes, but then, out of nowhere, the schedule appeared that it will only have 4 episodes, and then the whole community was just very disappointed. I really remember that.
Yeah. It's a bit of a similar situation with Day of the Departed, but Day of the Departed had its own issues going on, so not a super good comparison, but...
Does anyone know how it came about? Like, why the season is only 4 episodes long? Like, was it intentional, or did they need to make it 4 episodes?
Yes, I'd say it's really only there to just introduce Seabound, but again, that's more towards the end of this podcast. But
I think because they have a limited budget and they wanted to give some of the budget to the reimagined shorts, because I don't think they were really cheap to make because of all the new animation styles. So this is my theory.
That could be true.
Yeah, that's possible.
But if you keep in mind it's 10th anniversary, so it makes sense to have some extra stuff over actual 2 seasons. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but don't forget Ninjago viewership is dropping drastically in the last few years. Like if you compare to season 4, 5,
really that's not really fans' fault.
That's more Lego's
I know, but that's why the budget explanation is the most good one, I think.
Yeah, that's not really an insanely good explanation, honestly. But
moving on.
So as we said, 4 episodes, and we'll discuss the first one right now, which is Uncharted. I will definitely need some help because why do I not remember anything from this? Because this installment just went past me in the blink of an eye. So I may need some help with this one.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that most of us don't even remember of it that much, it really shows that it wasn't anything too crazy.
Yeah, a lot of the episodes, like, their stories, like, it feels like, you know how they release 2 at a time? It feels like they should have gone back to the original 22-minute long episode run, because a lot of these episodes feel like they should be continued, but then they just end at the 11-minute mark.
Yeah, and then we also aren't getting the proper intros for them.
Yeah, and I've noticed a trend with these Wild Brain intros is that it's like only everyone in the fandom only likes one of them. There's only that one that everyone likes, and then all the other ones are crap, essentially.
I don't get the recap thing. That's a story for another day.
Yeah,
I
right?
think I've heard that is to offer more time within the episode, which I guess
It makes sense because before the recaps plus the intro took like 1 minute, so this one is only 20 seconds. So yeah, it makes sense because the episodes are only 11 minutes. So yeah.
But I mean, like the recap, like the intro consists of them recapping the last episode instead of introducing the ninja. I don't get like if you've watched the last episode, you're probably going to tune in to the next episode. And you don't need like 3 flash screens of what happened previously.
Yeah,
but that's just me.
But like remember,
networks and content distributors always prefer series that are more serialized without plots that continue throughout the season. So Lego kind of needs to do that so the distributors could show the season more because they don't.
I see.
Yeah.
So, if anyone somehow, some way in this group knows what happens in Uncharted, please help me. I don't remember anything besides like the first part.
Okay, I remember what happened. So basically, it starts at the beginning. We see Misako, Sensei Wu, and Clutch Powers and Wayne. They are working in the jungle, where they got like captured by those big statues, and then see Lloyd and Pixel in the monastery, and then they search for, and then we see Dove, Ronan, and stuff like that.
Yeah, which is going to be kind of foreshadowed towards the end, in an infamous twist that we'll get to later.
Yeah.
But I have a little question. So, do you think that the escape from Criterium they are talking in this episode is the same that happened in Prime Empire, or are these just two unrelated events?
They're probably unrelated.
Yeah, they're unrelated because like there's time between of those two seasons. There's Master of the Mountains, so it's like it's a
but
big
it says
time.
that Roden's been doing this for a while. He's been collecting them for a while.
Yeah,
so maybe he's been doing that while the Master.
True.
Yeah. So after Lloyd and Pixel, what else happened?
They go to Tim, like Tim Batterson. What's the name of Tim Batterson in the show?
Twitchy Tim.
Twitchy Tim. Yeah. They go and they ask him about the island.
And then Jay tricks him that because he's losing his memory constantly, Jay tricks him and says that he already agreed to go on the island, and then they just go to the island.
Yeah, because Twitchy's been zapped so many times by lightning. He essentially goes
12 times.
I really disliked that scene. I actually found it really childish. I mean, it really, I don't know. I just really didn't like it.
Abduction.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought Twitchy is an interesting character. He's not bad, but he's not like good either.
I like his character.
I actually dislike him a lot. I mean, there's nothing really good about him.
He's a cool parallel to Lloyd, learning to.
Not really. That whole parallel is crap.
I know. I see it. I think it's cool.
Yeah, but that's a stretch of the imagination, if I've ever heard of one.
Yeah, categories are always just stretch of imagination.
I mean, kinda, sorta, but not always. Some of them actually do make sense.
I mean, we're all entitled to our own opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Okay, so after Twitchy Tim, they go to the island, and then they go with the bounty and stuff. And while being in the bounty, Twitchitter start to talk about his story,
which is a little bit interesting, actually.
He was
I would
part
have liked
of
to have seen more from it.
I guess.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, this whole scene was literally just like a shot of him in the balloon, and the background changes, and then he cuts out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a pretty strange scene.
Yeah, so we definitely need help after this point.
Well, then
Yeah,
they have that scene with the catamarans, I guess.
Catamaran.
Yeah. When they go with the catamarans to the island, and then Pixel like give them the bikes that they will use, and then they see the camp of Misako and Clutch Powers, and the episode end when they go with the bikes.
Yeah,
I
also, I'm sorry to interrupt, but how in the world do free chopper bikes fit in the bounty? Literally, and all of the
Yeah,
other catamarans. I mean,
that's so
that
fucking
doesn't make
weird.
Any sense. I mean, the bounty's big, but like, it's not the movie bounty big.
Yeah, I mean, even if it was, they
kind
kinda need to have some kind of interior other than garage for vehicles, you know.
How did Pixel even know the location of the ninja? And like,
Well, they had
wasn't
to get there first. She locked
well,
onto their
wasn't she
position.
scared that the chopper brakes could crash on them?
That
Like they
is
could
true.
land on them? I don't know. It's a pretty
It would have
strange.
been funny if one of them got squished, but I know that wouldn't have happened. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. At least I think that's what happened in that episode, because I have no memory of it at all. It, or are we gonna like, more stuff? Yeah, that just from you saying that, you two, Rita and Lord J, just from you saying that alone, it's like one of the most boring ways of discussing that episode. I'm sorry, but the way you talked about that episode, it didn't even make up for the fact that it's so boring.
Oh.
Well, it was.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really interesting. There are a lot better of Ninjago episodes. Like even in season 11, from the fire chapter, there's episodes that are better than this one. It was boring. I agree.
Oh yeah, they're way better episodes.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so we can rate the episode now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we should go with the podcast order. I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. So typically whenever I rate a episode in the whole boring area, I usually give it the same number, which in this case it's a 5 out of 10.
I mean, personally, I just wasn't a fan of this episode at all. Even the scenes that I remember from it weren't enjoyable by any means. So actually, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10.
Ooh.
Yeah, for me, I think I'm gonna give it like Luke a 5 out of 10, and yeah.
I will give it a 5 out of 10 just because of that catamaran scene. I really liked it, so I think
8.5. Did you say 8.5?
5.
No, he said 5.
He said 5, not 8.5.
5 out of 10. Yeah.
And then I would go with what I gave it originally. I think I'll give it a 6 because it's full of loads of scenes I wish were extended, and that's pretty much it. So 6 out of 10.
Yeah. So again, I hate to reference a Skybound thing, but with me, I have to go with full on Nautica. It is better to be hated, to be forgotten. Which, that's what these episodes are. They're just forgettable. Even the bad episodes are more memorable than this one, because at least the bad episodes, they kind of stick. These ones just don't stick.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a perfect analogy, because they're forgotten, not hated. Like, they're all right, but they're not rememberable, I guess. Rememberable, is that a word?
Even the bad ones have even the bad ones you can remember because, well, they're bad.
Yeah, exactly.
They weren't bad, unless they're like really good. But
Yeah.
And then the next episode, so we're almost already halfway done. Is the Keepers of the Amulet, where we finally get to see the keepers.
Yeah.
Barely. They're like in 2 minutes.
And it's when we see Zippy.
Yep, actually Zippy gets introduced before the Keepers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of Zippy, unfortunately.
While the first episode was seemed really rushed for me, I think that the second episode feels too stretched out, like the scenes with Zippy. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, sadly, also Zippy didn't really turn out to be anything too crazy. I mean, he was just there for being there. I mean, he didn't really have that much of a purpose.
Didn't our friend Overlord 146 didn't he make like a very stupid theory about Zippy being a mech or something?
No, I
thought he did, or at least
that Twitchy team was actually Zippy.
Oh yeah.
Which I thought, what is that theory? That theory is one of the stupidest ones I've ever heard.
Really? I mean, I actually thought it's pretty decent. He also had some proof, as I remember. But yeah.
Yeah, like the twitching. He thought that.
Yeah, exactly.
Turn him into the dragon. I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it is just all theorization at the end of the day. It doesn't mean any of it's going to be true.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Just made no sense in my opinion, but anyways, Rida and probably have to back at the episode.
Yeah, okay, so we see at the beginning the ninjas going with the bikes, then they see Zippy, and after that they see those statues, those big statues, and they fight with the statues. This is where there's this fight scene with the epic animation. And then after that, they get captured by the keepers, and at the island, the chief, the Mamatus, he told us the story of the amulet, and then he say they have to go to jail or something like that, and the episode ends.
Yeah. So yeah, the only interesting little tidbit of this episode was that action scene with the golems or whatever the hell they're called.
I mean, I absolutely love that scene. It's probably the only good thing about this installment, if I'm being completely honest. I don't know, it actually felt great.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, those stone golems are my favorite part of the season, and they never show up again. Like not even in Seabound, like they never show up. After they just walked off at the end of this episode, and they never show up. Yeah, they were so good, and they just didn't show up again. I was really disappointed.
Yeah, I know.
I thought with them going back in Seabound, I was like, oh, we're going to see the golems again. Nope, didn't even see them in that.
It's like that meme. Nope.
Nope. Rest in peace, golems, man. I love them.
So yeah, as we said, that's like the only interesting tidbit, especially with Zane just throwing his trademark shurikens at them. Which I thought was cool.
Yeah, like that will help.
Zane enthusiast in me, as Overlord would say.
Yeah.
I thought the name Keepers of the Amulet was a bit weird because like they don't show up until 2 minutes at the end. I think the next episode would have been better being called Keepers of the Amulet. But I don't know what else you'd call this episode. I guess Ninja venturing through jungle is best you could come up with. Or the Stone Golems. Call it the Stone Golems. It's the only episode they're in. And they're on the poster. Like,
weren't they in the title card as well?
Yeah, they're in the title card, they're in the poster, and they don't even get 5 minutes of screen time.
It's like, what in the world is going on with this installment, essentially?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a mess, that's for sure.
It's very messy. Yeah.
I wish that the island got like 16 episodes, then I think it would have been better.
If it had 16 episodes, it could have been the best new Ninjago season, but yeah.
For sure. There was a lot of good potential.
And, I thought if I remember there was a scene in which Cole is constantly, thinking about being hungry or something.
Oh, that
Yeah, I
was
mean, I'm really annoyed by that. I mean, at
Like,
least in the
I
earlier
think
seasons,
it
they
kind of makes
kinda
sense with
knew
Cole
how to.
because it kind of makes sense because
Yeah,
it's
it does,
whatever.
but I mean, in the older seasons, they at least knew how to kind of handle those scenes with Cole and Foot to actually make it seem great. But there, I don't know, it kind of felt out of place, to be fair.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, it's just
It was
weird
just
attempts
a
at
bit,
comedy.
it was just a bit strange seeing like Cole get this huge season for himself, and then in the next two installments he just makes food jokes, and then in Seabound he just made one cake joke. Like it's
yeah.
just
I think if
strange.
I don't want to go back to the whole last episode. I think there was a thing in the first episode that there is Twitchy said something about poisonous everything, poisonous, 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 poisonous.
He
I mean,
said this. He said this in the second episode.
oh yeah, there
Yeah,
was a poisonous everything, poisonous, poisonous, poisonous,
yeah,
poisonous,
yeah,
poisonous.
and
Because
Like,
then
Cole's
Cole
using
wants
Jesus,
to
poisonous
eat
dude,
berries,
calm
something,
wasn't
and
he?
then
down.
he's like, especially those berries.
It's just
Yeah.
like, Jesus, dude, calm down.
Yeah, oh well.
Yeah.
That just kind of shows that Witchy team isn't really mentally stable, you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Cole ate the berries and then he immediately spat them back out or something.
hmm
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Mm-hmm.
just remembered that tidbit for some reason, just because I thought it was kind of funny.
I also
Yeah.
thought it was kind of funny.
I was like, at least you kind of made a hit there with that humor, I guess.
I feel like with Twitchy's character, this just came to me, but they brought him along so he could like help them track through the island. But at what point does he ever help them track through the island?
Yes.
Yeah, I
not.
mean, no one expected that Ninja will get captured, which pretty much made the whole
Happens all the
situation
time this
different.
season.
I'm pretty sure. Again, I keep mentioning Overlord's name. I think this is the third time already in this podcast that I've mentioned
Yeah, I
him.
think so
How
as
we
well.
never ever get to know how to pronounce his damn name.
Oh my.
All right, so we just went silent, I guess.
What?
Why
like-
do we always go silent after Luke says something like that?
It's just like, how do you pronounce it? Mamadas?
Well, you can just say the chief of the
The chief.
keepers because his name was never stated in the show. Even in the credits, they didn't state his name, I think. Yeah.
That's kind of stupid.
More flaws with the island.
Yep.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is, and I'm pretty sure he was so mad about it. I mean, I'm like, well, I was mad too because I actually wanted to hear the pronunciation of this name. So, because I don't like butchering pronunciations of names. I don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is confusing. Again, another confusing thing with the island, but probably I think it's pronounced like Mamadas. I think.
Yeah, I
that's the
think
way
it is
to go.
Mamadis.
Yeah, mamadas. It's kind of like tomato,
Maybe.
potato.
So he tells them about the
I thought
story.
it was like Mammothus for some
Or
reason.
Mamitis. But it's Mamadis.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't know,
pretty
there are
sure.
just many
I'm
ways.
99.9% sure it's Mamadis.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the problem is that we haven't heard the name from the show. We only saw it in the sets, so that's why we don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but
I
actually,
think we should
fun
rate them.
fact.
I think we should.
Wait, can I say something? Actually, Mamadas. That's actually a special type of a cloud, so that's why he has that name, and that is
Oh.
actually pronounced
Yeah,
like
And I
Mamadas.
think at the end they all do this Wojira chant, which I really liked. And I also like the inflection. They rolled the R in Wojira, like Wojira, Wojira, like that. It's like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
little inflection.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds
Yeah.
like how a Spanish person would say it, like that. But I don't know.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's just
so
like more of
should
their
we rate
culture.
the episode?
I did.
Yeah.
So we read
This
the
episode
episode?
just ends with them getting imprisoned forever,
Yeah.
as he says.
It just ends
Um,
with line, "You will be our prisoners forever," I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't get imprisoned in this episode, but they get like, you will be our prisoners, and in the next episode they get captured.
But at least one good thing about the keepers is their design is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because I like that little purple, clear, transparent look that they had. It looks kind of freaky as well.
Yeah. They look very intimidating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at least they got that. But I think in the next episode, what we're going to discuss, they're not actually bad people. But let's rate this episode. And starting with me, again, another boring episode, which, the only interesting scene, as we mentioned before, is the golem scene, which I don't know why this episode wasn't called "Fight with the Golems" or something with the golems, like TheJayButTwo said.
Like, I don't know, the stone golems. It would have been so simple, because the keepers of the amulet aren't really in the episode. They're like in 2 minutes at the end. They're more like a prominent, like, I don't know, they're there in the next episode in the Gift of Jay.
If I'm gonna say another 5 out of 10, that's my score if I want to call it the episode boring, essentially, because that's kind of what it was. It was boring though than the previous one.
Alright, so this is gonna be a hot take, but personally, I really enjoyed this episode. I actually think it's by far the best part of the island, like by a mile. So actually, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Yes, I actually think it's a pretty good episode.
Oh my!
But you know what's the thing that if you combine the rating of the other 3 episodes, you probably get an 8. So
okay.
Yeah, so I agree with Nick. This episode was good, and mostly because of the fights with the golems. The fight is just like so epic, like the animation and everything. The fight is so cool. So I give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay, so I don't know. I think maybe a 4 out of 10. I liked it less than the first episode. Well, I'm not a huge fan of action in general, so yeah. I think I will give it a 4 out of 10.
Well,
ouch.
Well, I would have to agree
lower
with,
than me, and I'm the harsh critic.
Well, I'm gonna have to agree with Nick. Like, I think this is the best this season had. Like, it started off and then it went great, and then it just kind of went downhill from there. But I think this it was a good episode based around what was like surrounding it. So I will give it a 7 out of 10. I don't think it's quite an 8, but I'll give it a 7.
Yeah. Okay. So that was unexpected.
Yeah, I mean, it's also interesting how we have a pretty different ratings on this episode, because with the first one we kind of were around 5, 4,
Yeah.
And then the next one is The Gift of Jay, which
Oh boy,
what he actually meant is kind of disturbing. The whole undertone around it is kind of disturbing, since it's really like a human sacrifice almost. That's what the Mayans did. And the Mayans were way more graphic with this, because they actually would I'm not going to say it here because that'd be way gross. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes,
so it is a bit disturbing in that regard, but obviously it has to be like a really PG version of that, which...
Well, this episode I just didn't enjoy. It's like nothing really happened. Because like the end of the last episode was with the ninja getting captured, and then the ending of this episode is the ninja getting captured because they freed themselves and then got captured again. Like there was no point for this episode to happen.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's almost like the way back. I'm sorry, I had to mention the whole way back thing. I'm sorry.
But I like the scene where Lloyd and Zippy are trying to save the ninjas and go and save them. This scene is really cool. I love it.
Yeah,
I really enjoy it.
I really love it.
That's a weird part, though, because this season was marketed as a Lloyd season, but Lloyd doesn't really get focus or development from it at all.
Yeah,
I think
right?
Jay gets a little bit more focus because he had like focus on the fight scene in the second episode. He was the one to convince Twitchy Tim to go with them. Then he has all that human sacrifice thing. So
not to mention the whole theme is lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think in that episode there was also like a two-headed keeper.
Oh
Yeah.
Yes.
Not what their names
Polaric.
were. I think they had names, but I'm not.
Wait, just a sec.
Polaric and
Polaric, yeah,
something like that.
Polaric.
Polaric, yeah.
Yeah, because I know they were kind of like a weird version of what's it? Thankdom with the two heads.
Yeah, but I like.
Yeah, that's true, but it's kind of different because those one are not evil at all.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They
They're
were
just
like
weird.
so-
They're just weird.
I thought they were also like nice to Jay, and I like them. I liked their characteristics, and I think this episode really showed how Jay changed from like his first seasons to newer Ninjago, because like he was acting less brave and more like a scared child in a way, I guess.
That's a bad thing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's not the best thing. I wasn't a big fan of it.
Well, I was going to say, I like how, like, you would presume from that scene in, like, this type of show that he would just start scoffing the fruit and etc., but he actually, like, defended the fact that he wanted to find his friends over eating the fruit. So I thought that was a nice part.
Yeah, that I really like that. Yeah.
That was cool, I guess.
So, as for the...
That's the one good thing I'll say about this
actually
episode.
happened, I don't know, other than those little tidbits.
Don't walk you through the episode?
There was this funny joke about Kai saying who would want Jay as a gift, and then he said, I would.
That's in the next episode, I think. Or is it in this episode?
Yeah.
I can't... I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's in the next episode. In this episode, they don't gift Jay. In the last episode, when they go to save Jay, that's when Jay gets
So
captured.
the next episode should have been called The Gift of Jay. And this episode should never have happened.
I mean,
I guess.
I like this scene with Lloyd, so I don't think it's
Wasn't
like
this
it's a bad
also... Wasn't
episode,
there
but-
a scene with Lloyd and Twitchy Tim as well? In this one?
Yes.
Yeah,
This
but I don't
was-
like that scene either, because it just sidelines Twitchy for the rest of the
Yeah,
season.
and
goes
also
back
it
into one
just
scene.
again, unnecessary Lloyd focus.
Yeah.
Well, this was
Why?
marketed as a so I think that they should have given him a bit even more screen time, because I just wanted to see maybe him using his powers in a new way. Maybe he could have, but well, it was a really short season, so I didn't expect much.
Yeah.
I
I
really
will
wish
say
that
though that when he put that little things on his face, he kind of reminded me of, what was it, John Rambo from the Rambo films.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, he turns all freaking Sylvester Stallone. He's gonna be like,
I know, right?
But ultimately, it just leads to a scene of him throwing coconuts and then getting captured.
I think that the scene with him and Zippy. I don't know. I like the scene with Lloyd bonding with Zippy.
Yeah, I do like that scene. That is a good scene. It just feels so unneeded.
Well, yeah, but like it isn't needed, but it being unneeded doesn't mean that it's bad.
Oh no, I do agree with that. Like I said, I do think it's a good scene.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
Okay, so we read this episode.
Yeah, we
yeah,
could.
because I think they covered pretty much everything that happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did.
It's like TheJayButTwo said, I don't know if this episode should have happened or not.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't have happened.
And I was trying to mimic your accent. I don't think it should have happened.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Well, like I
to be
said,
British
all that
for
happens
once.
is they get captured. Lloyd goes to save them, then he gets captured with them, and then that leads into what happens next episode. Like, they could have all just got captured at once, lead into the episode
It's
after this.
essentially a
and this
capture
happens.
fest.
Yeah, this whole season is just them getting captured.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's like they haven't been captured enough already in this series. They haven't.
Yeah.
Especially Lloyd.
I honestly
remember
was surprised
seeing
they
a
weren't trapped in
meme of
Venstone.
Lloyd Lloyd X Cages. Because Lloyd and Cages work so well together. I mean, that user ain't wrong.
Yeah, I guess we should rate the episode.
We should rate again. Yeah. And again, this is another boring episode. I swear to God, this installment is so boring. It's so boring. It literally makes me want to sleep at night. Like, it just makes me want to go. God, that's how boring.
It makes me want to sleep during the day.
Exactly, which I don't really do that. So again, another 5. Essentially, a 5 is almost essentially like a 0, almost. So at least with the bad episode ratings, you can remember, as I said before, you can remember how bad they were and you hate them. But with these, they're just like, hey, this existed?
Yeah, you could say. But alright, for my rating, I think it was also another episode like the premiere of this season, if you want to call it like this. I don't know, it wasn't really that memorable to be fair, but it also wasn't anything too crazy, so I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10.
Rida.
Oh, yeah. So so for me, I think I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10, like the previous one, because as I said, I like the scene with Lloyd, and like the episode isn't terrible. It's not really like amazing, but it's not terrible. So yeah, 7 out of 10.
Yeah, so I think this is my favorite episode out of the island. So I am considering between 8 and 9. I don't know. I really like this episode. So
just put 8.5, considering you said 8 and 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll just put 8. 8 out of 10. Yeah.
Well, I think I've made my opinions quite clear. So I'm going to give this episode a 2 out of 10. Because there are good scenes in this episode, like the Lloyd one and like the Jay one as well. But like, I just don't like that. I don't enjoy this episode. And if I was going to rewatch the season, I would just go 1, 2, 4. I wouldn't watch this episode. But like I said, that's just me. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
Yeah, and like you said in your accent, it shouldn't have happened.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Let's move on, I guess.
Yeah, and then we're finally at the finale, the Tooth of Wojira.
Yeah.
Oh boy, this is gonna be a talk and a half.
The Tooth of Wojira, named after one scene which didn't even last 2 seconds.
Yeah, and contains a very infamous twist.
Yeah, and it's the worst episode. That's also
for sure.
I actually don't agree with that, but we'll get to that when we rate the episode.
So who's walking through it this time?
So we'll have to walk through it again.
Yeah, so like at the beginning, Jay like is getting sent to get captured because we see the fake Wojira, like Wojira coming in the sea, and then the ninjas go with them, and Zane start to make ice so they can get there. And when they arrive, they was too late because the Wujira was fast, but they notice it's a fake Wujira because the tooth is a fake one. It's in wood. So when they return to the island, they show the keepers that it's a fake Wujira, not like the real one. And then they team up with them and they become allies. After that, they go to where Wajira is there, and the scene happens, the final scene of the fight and everything. And then the episode ends.
I'm glad you didn't mention the twist, because I don't know, because again...
Yeah, I wanted to let everyone discuss it.
So, as you said, I mean, the whole idea of the Wojir that we see is fake, not a bad thing, until we realize who actually did make it.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. It just wasn't really that fun. And then also Lloyd is like, have you ever seen a monster made out of wood and throws piece of wood away? It's pretty hilarious.
Yeah, he treats him like. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think the keepers also said that they were like essentially almost blackmailed, almost.
Well, no, he said to sacrifice. Well, to self-sacrifice thing because the character we'll get into is like in a hood and goes, you know what would be really cool, and then says it, and then he goes, oh okay, and then just does it. Like it's just very weak, I guess.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So who's going to say the character's name?
Then there is the infamous twist with the true villain of the season being Ronan. Yeah, this pissed off so many people. This pissed off so many people.
I'm sorry, but this whole thing was crap. I mean, that just wasn't okay. I just don't really like what they did with Ronan. I mean, I get that he would do a lot of things for money, but that just wasn't the way. Also, look at his design. Looks like he's been on crack.
His design looks like absolute shit.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is this design?
Yeah, I mean, he really looks like he's been on crack 24/7, literally.
Well, what I was gonna say is, the concept of Ronan being the villain again is a good one if it was handled well. Like if he had an actual motivation to become a villain again. It's just this wasn't it. To steal money using people he's captured over a
And Ronan has this sort of thing where he's like constantly swapping sides, where it gets annoying after a while. Just like pick one, all right? I understand you're a bounty hunter, and that's what you do, but like, I don't have to mention today, but pick one and stick with it, please.
Like, I like that part of his character, but I wish they just had a genuine, like, good reason instead of he wants money. Like,
exactly, because
I think that they could have explained his character a bit more. Like, I don't know, maybe he could have just said one line that he needed money to restore his home after the Vermilions destroyed it, because I think his shop was destroyed by the Vermilions in season 7.
Yeah, but
even they could have tied it back into the Vengestone buyer. Maybe he had to pay off something from the Vengestone buyer because he did something kind of like how he had to pay off the ghost from season 5.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They could have tied it back to the Vengestone buyer, and it would have like been way more interesting than I just want money.
Yeah, I mean, and we can also agree that the 40-minute runtime didn't justify that at all.
No, it did not. It made it worse.
Like my version of this, you could have cut the last episode and made this, like all the stuff that happens in this, way longer. Like give Ronan more, give like the sacrifice more, instead of just a couple of minutes each.
Yeah. That's just dumb how they put an important scene where there's the plot twist. They put it in like 4 minutes and that's it. So it's just dumb. Like it should be the whole episode about this plot twist, but I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so like after seeing the island for the first time, so if you can remember, it released in French first. So I watched it in French, and I didn't understand anything, of course. And I thought that Ronan actually wanted for keepers to sacrifice the storm amulet, so he could get the amulet for the upcoming villain of season 15, season 14. Like, because I didn't understand anything, and now thinking about it, I think that this could have been like much cooler.
Yeah, like already that, like what you've just suggested, is a way better motive than what it originally was.
Yeah, exactly. And at least one good thing about this episode is Twitchy Tim saves the day, which at least he gains that confidence that Lloyd kind of tried to like boost into him, which I thought was kind of cool.
A lot of people, I think it's kind of cool.
No, for me, it was dumb. Like he was a coward at the beginning, and then he comes like a hero. Like like
But that's because Lloyd
it
had
just
the
doesn't make sense because like
episode.
the day before he was still scared and doesn't want to help, and now he become the hero with the lightning and everything, and he saves the day. Like
But
I
that's
mean,
because
it's
Lloyd
good
had
that he saved, but it was rushed. It was rushed,
Yeah,
yeah.
sure was.
It's a
Yeah.
very rushed episode.
Rushed.
Mhm.
Yeah, just this entire thing was rushed. This entire thing was rushed.
Mhm.
I think out of all these like Ninjago movies or specials, we got like March of the Oni, we got Day of the Departed. This one was the most rushed.
Even Day of the Departed was not this rushed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't. I mean,
And that's
at least
notoriously
kind
known
of
for
had
being
a
rushed.
base, and at least it
Even Day
kind
of
of
the
made
Departed
sense
tried
with.
to explain some stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
See-
think I like Day of the Departed a bit more than The Island.
See, what this season feels like is like this season feels like something they'd put in like a Ninjago magazine comic book. Like this feels like a
Oh,
little
yeah.
mini story, which would be one of those,
Yeah,
which
Of
would set up.
course you would say that because you're British. That's where the magazine releases.
I mean, true. But I'm speaking
They
from like.
actually released through the whole Europe, to be fair.
Yeah,
I mean, they
they
aren't released in India, but they are like in Italy.
Yeah,
and
screw
other
me.
countries.
Screw me, because
Well, I
I'm
think
American.
you can still buy the graphic novels, which is all of them collected in one. I know you can do that, but you can't buy the
Yeah.
magazines.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but like I say, this feels like one of those mini stories in there, just stretched out to be a prequel to Seabound.
And even then, Seabound kind of like individualizes itself from the island. So it's almost like, well, what was the point of the island, essentially?
Yeah, just so they had that.
Because there was
connection.
like barely any connections between the two installments. Barely
Yeah,
any.
but like some people call the whole season filler, and I think we shouldn't do that because like calling the whole season filler would be like this still happened. We still like we don't particularly need to watch it, but we shouldn't just call it filler because
There's a very thin line of what you call filler. Like filler is stuff like the Paper Girl episodes in season 11, but this isn't filler. This is something that, like I said, is happening.
Yeah,
not like
it's
cut away.
just a skippable season. It isn't filler though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Paper Girl wasn't filler. So.
I 100% agree with that. No, I not Paper Girl the episode. I mean the Paper Boy ones.
News never sleeps, I guess.
Yeah.
That one
Yeah,
wasn't even filler either. That one wasn't even filler either.
It kind of was.
Because
No, it wasn't because Nelson was telling Sensei Wood that the ninjas are captive. So that's pretty important. The story.
Yeah, all right, fair point.
The only like skippable or fillery episode of the Fire chapter was like the Snake Catastrophe or something like that. Like the
even
news
then,
episode.
that wasn't. Even then, it kind of showcased where the freaking scroll was.
Well, yeah.
Because I'm seeing a lot of people make videos about how a lot of fans don't know what actually filler is.
Yeah, that's true.
It's kind of like, well,
it's become like just a word you use to describe something that didn't happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of lost its meaning, if you will.
Yeah, true.
But
yeah.
Anyways, should we rate this episode? I won't be.
No, actually, there's another
we
thing.
still haven't talked about the ending.
Actually, before that, actually, Clutch Powers tried to
steal the amulet,
the storm amulet.
Somehow, some way, he actually does. We just don't see Seabound.
I think that he like made a fake amulet while he was like.
But like, how the hell did we not see that?
Yeah, but also, how the heck did he not end up in prison? I mean, he tried to steal the most valuable item of the keepers.
Yeah, he should be. I don't know. The keepers maybe should just sacrifice to some other.
Sacrifice Clutch Powers, please.
The gift of Clutch.
The gift of Clutch, especially since he's such a crap character. Just throw him out and nobody would miss him.
Well, I don't want to give Clutch too much credit, but I think the way he managed to get the amulet is he gave the amulet to, say, one of his colleagues, and then he pretended to run off with that one, so they'd see him, take the fake amulet, put it back, but they would still have the real amulet. But I think that might be too smart for Clutch, so I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's almost like, essentially, it's like a sort of fake thing, which, that turned into a whole goose chase in the next installment, which we'll get into next week.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, that ending.
Yeah, and at the ending, we see Lloyd, Misako, and Master Wu looking at the sea, and then the camera drops under the sea, and we see Wojira sleeping.
I don't understand that scene, because in Seabound we see the temple completely filled with air, and in the ending of the island it was completely underwater, so I didn't quite understand why.
Exactly. That's a big plot hole, because the location of Wojira, where she's sleeping, it's not where we see in the island, and like that's really confusing.
Like, just rushed. They could have thought about that more.
Like, I think TheJayButTwo said it. Like, the tooth of Wojira, it doesn't even last 2 minutes.
Yeah, like, we know why it's called the Tooth of Wojira. It's called that so when we hear that name, we go, before we see the episode, we hear that name and we go, oh my god, the Tooth of Wojira. Wojira's going to appear in this episode. But I think a far better name for it would have been like something like Jay's Sacrifice, because that would have got people talking more. Because then people would be like, Jay's Sacrifice? Jay's going to be sacrificed? What? But like, no, Tooth of Wojira, like, it doesn't fulfill the promise the name gives. Sorry for the voice break.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think that's it. I think now we could do like the whole final rating of, this episode and even the season.
We actually have to rate this episode at first.
The episode and season.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Luke, you should start.
Yeah, so I actually think this episode, despite having that awful twist, is actually the best one, because at least we had, as I said before, Twitchy saving the day, which I really liked, and at least the action was actually much better than it was previous episodes. Maybe with the exception of the Stone Golem one, but that's just me personally. So I'd give it a modest 7 out of 10.
Oof.
Is that your only non-5 one?
Yeah, I broke my 5 streak.
Well, personally, to me, this episode sucked. I mean, there really wasn't anything good about it. Pretty much just things that were bad, in my opinion. So actually, I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 10. It really was trash.
Ooh. That's worse than my 2 for the last episode. Jesus.
Oh my. Like, I wouldn't give any Ninjago episode such a low rating.
I would.
I can think of a couple, but
I would literally prefer to Island to end with episode 3, even though it didn't end at all.
Yeah, me and Nick are heartless. That's why we can give episodes such low ratings.
Yes, Luke. Yes.
Okay,
Rida.
so Rida.
Okay, so for me, I think this episode was trash, like really trash. Nothing in it was like good. Everything was rushed. Everything was bad explained, and it wasn't really good. So I give it a 3.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'll give this episode a 3 out of 10.
I think I agree with a lot of you, where it's like this episode is very boring, but it was full of like a lot of potential, and that's what makes it so sad to me, I guess. So I'm gonna give it I don't know. I'll go 3. I'll go 3 out of 10.
Yeah, I kind of upped it up to a 5, so every episode's a 5 because it's so boring.
Gotta go with that 5 rule.
Yeah, so I think as a season, again, I have to bring it in. It's a 5. The whole island was just boring. It was just like, it was a boring, rushed mess. At least with Day the Departed, and Marchione wasn't even this bad. Like, Marchione, even with its movie version, only issues the movie version had were some of the edits were like in the wrong places, but that was really it. With Data Departed, it had a lot of potential, where it's kind of the same thing with the island, but it just seems like the potential was squandered, essentially, almost in the same way Data Departed was. But I think maybe over time people will like the island, because I've noticed a trend that a lot of the more despised installments are become classics in like a few years from now. Skybound being the biggest example.
Oh, hey, hold on. Skybound has always been a classic.
Oh, it's not. Yeah. It sucked ass.
Oh, no.
Oh, I can't.
Why did you say that, Luke? Why?
What?
Yeah, Luke, now you
can
just
say those
yourself.
I keep remembering people getting so mad at me because I dislike.
We're gonna kill Luke, don't worry, guys.
We're gonna cancel that man.
Yep, he's going down.
Oh my god! I remember in our whole ranking video, someone pointed out that I put one random installment above Skybound in, and people tell me it's like the best thing ever. And that's my biggest problem with Skybound fans. They are so privileged at times.
How dare you? Skybound's number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, so but probably we should
five.
Okay, we continue with the rankings.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll continue. Let's leave Luke alone. Okay, but yeah, I'm just really not a fan of this installment. I mean, personally, I don't even really want to consider it a season, because it's even under an hour long, which isn't really that much. More something for like the special, but yeah, I don't know, I'm just like not fan of it at all. Everything about it felt rushed, and it didn't really offer anything too crazy. But yeah, there are 4 episodes. My total score would be 16, so that makes it a 4 out of 10. But yeah, I mean, I usually don't rely on episode rankings that much. But yeah, I think this one is an actual 4 out of 10 stuff.
Math.
Yeah.
So for me, I think this one, like it was a good installment. It wasn't really bad, but it's not in my top 10. Of course, it's up, and yeah, I give it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I think I agree with Nick, and I'll give it a 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10.
Well, I agree with a lot of you with all these points. I like it. I like it. It's fair. It's like a simple like Ninjago installment. If you just want to watch Ninjago, you could just watch this, but it's nothing great. I think maybe it is a bit like overshadowed by obviously the hype of how good Seabound was. Maybe that's how good that was compared to how mundane this was. Maybe it like doesn't really balance each other out. So like you said, maybe the island will become a classic in seasons to come, but not right now for me. I think I would give it. I'll go with Luke. I'll say 5.
The 5 rule.
The 5 rule.
But I think that's really it. I think that's it. We don't really have anything else. So, yeah, it's great to be back in the saddle once again for podcasts. I hope you all missed me, because I missed doing this. But anyways, we'll hope to see you again for next week's podcast when we discuss the most recent Ninjago installment, Seabound, and we'll definitely praise it. Don't worry. But anyways, until then, we'll see you guys next time. See ya.
Bye.
Goodbye.